Hello. In today's video, we are still in the scatter plots packet, but now we are on day 2 on how to use trend lines to make predictions. So in the last lesson, we learned about what scatter plots are and how to make trend lines, and now today we're going to learn how to use them. So trend lines are used to make predictions. Whenever we draw a trend line, we use it to estimate the linear relationship of the data. So here's my scatter plot. The graph shows the relationship between the hours that a student studied and the grade earned on a test. A trend line has been drawn to approximate the linear relationship of the data. Describe the association and what it means for the situation. So if we're looking at our pattern, my line is going up, or my trend, the pattern of the scatter plot is going up, so it's a positive association. And it's showing a general linear pattern, which means it's going in like a line. What does this mean for the situation? So, as the number of hours, as hours increase, or hours studied increases, the test grades increase. That is what the pattern is showing us. According to the trend line, would a student get what score would a student get that studied for 3 hours? So I'm going to go to where it says 3 hours. Now I need to look at my X and my Y values to see which one is talking about the hours. That's my X. So 3 hours. Here's my 3 hours. I'm gonna follow that number up to where it hits that trend line. So it hits it right here. And I'm gonna follow to see where that point lies on my trend line and then see about what is that value for my Y. So using the trend line to make a prediction, if a student studies for 3 hours, they are expected to make about an 80 on the test. So 3 hours of studying gets them about an 80 on the test. The next question, what score would you expect a student that studied 1.5 hours to get on the test? So 1.5, it's gonna be in between 1 and 2. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna follow to see where does that 1.5 hit my trend line, and then go over to see what would my Y value be for that trend line. So if I had to approximate, I would say this student is going to get about a 65 to a 70 on the test. Now, if this is a multiple choice question, you're going to pick the one that's closest to what you think, the closest to that window on your test. Our next example. This graph shows the relationship between seasons of a television show and the number of viewers. A trend line has been drawn to approximate the linear relationship of the data. Describe the association, what it means for the situation. So, looking at my scatter plot, looking at my trend line, I notice that it's going down and it's following a general linear pattern. So this is a negative in linear association. What does that mean for this story or for this situation? So as the seasons increase, the number of viewers decrease. According to the trend line, how many viewers would you predict for season 7? So season 7, I need to look at my trend line, or look at my scatter plot, look at my X and my Y values, figure out which one is representing the seasons. And I see that that is my X value. So I'm gonna go to where it says season 7, which is over here at the end, go up to where it hits my trend line, and then follow that over to my Y-axis to see about where it would be. So giving the range, I would say about 25 to 30. And they are talking about millions, so million viewers for season 7. In this last part, or this last example, we just need to figure out, looking at the scatter plot, which person had the best trend line. So in the scatter plot, Jolie and Liz each drew a trend line to best approximate the data. Which student does a better job estimating the trend line and why? Remember, whenever we draw a trend line, it has to be in the middle of all the points. So Liz drew a better trend line. Oops. Trend line. Jolie's trend line was not in the middle of all the data set. It was too far up. When you are done copying this note page, you're going to go on to finish your Google Classroom assignment.